of
Dude,
a
he
finisher
kicked him in
or
the
something.
balls. What the hell?
It
Like,
was so good.
I saw someone joke and be like, "Oh, nah, damn, bro, Peter's handing out free vasectomies," and I'm like, "It's true."
Spider-Man doesn't kill people, just neuters them.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, are my good friends Kyle
Hello.
and Hunter. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
I'm glad one of us is. That's like, well, what a week for video games, and I say that quite a lot, and most of the time I mean it kind of ironically in the fact that nothing's happened, and then this week I feel like it's ironically in the fact that nothing good has happened this week in video games. It feels like it's been nothing but aberration of terrible news and mediocre events, and everybody deciding to jump off a bridge. But you know, it's fine. It is what it is. Jim Ryan's a happy boy, it seems. I don't know why. It's Can we just say, last week we were filled with so much optimism. You know, we were very excited. We were very eager to see what happened this week. I don't know. How are you guys feeling?
Well, it's funny because, like, this definitely the showcase under-delivered for sure, in the sense that I was expecting them to show me things that, you know, PlayStation first-party games I think are fine. I'm not exactly about to, you know, sacrifice someone's blood to them for another round at one, like a lot of PlayStation fans would, but I'm also gonna probably play them because they're fine, you know?
Yeah.
But, so, it would have been, oh, this is what Ghost of Tsushima 2, and blah, blah, blah. Sony Ben's making a thing.
Something too, yeah.
Yeah, so if it had been all of that, I'd been like, okay, fair enough, cool. Now I know what you're doing for the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're doing for the next couple of years. I don't know what they're doing after Spider-Man still.
No one knows, and that's the fun part. Everything's cancelled from the looks of it.
I barely know what's coming up in the next couple months, let alone couple of years.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it. It's been
silly.
a weird week, and so we decided this week that we would do a State of PlayStation. If they're gonna rebrand State of Play, we're taking the fucking moniker, and it's our State of Play now, and we're talking about the State of PlayStation because my God, we're gonna talk all about it. So if you've been keeping up to date past couple of weeks, month or so, it's not been great for Sony, and I feel like this was the icing on the cake. So we're gonna talk all about it. We're gonna talk about what happened at the PlayStation Showcase. We are going to go and run down through everything that had to offer, the pros, the cons, the goods, the bads, mainly the bads. There wasn't that many goods.
So many bads.
It was mainly some great indies and bads. So we'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about everything that's been happening with PlayStation. We'll just talk about what we see the future of PlayStation as like at the moment, as it's probably the lowest point I feel like in PlayStation history at the moment since like
At least since
some
the
point
PS3.
during the PS3
era.
It's not very good. So we'll talk all about it because I feel like both Xbox and PlayStation are fumbling the bag at the moment. So we'll talk all about it. But yeah, if you're new here, welcome to the show. We're here every Monday, usually around 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern. You can catch us on podcast services. Just search Hot Gamers Only or go to youtube.com/Hot Gamers Only. And you can look at our stupid faces every single week. Not really got much housekeeping for you this week. Thank you for the support. Keep the support running. We've got reviews for Jedi. We've got reviews for Horizon Forbidden West, Xenoblade. What else did we do? We did something else. I don't remember. We've got reviews for everything. Coffee Talk. We've got a load of reviews up right now.
Octopath 2.
Yeah, Zelda review.
Resi
still not.
4.
Yeah. We're still cranking our way through Zelda,
80s.
so we're going to have to wait.
80s.
We got a backlog of a lot of reviews. Go and check them all out. Zelda is coming within the next week or two. So sorry about that. It's a very long game.
One of us has to beat the game first.
I did.
Yeah,
Kyle,
did,
you don't want to
but
review it though.
I don't. You're right.
yeah, so it is what it is.
Almost
We'll
to 200
be.
subs too.
Yeah, I guess 200 subs. We'll do a spoiler cast when Hunter decides to start doing the main story. I am making my way, but I don't have time.
I did a thing yesterday.
Oh, good for
I'm
you.
working on it.
You know, just 2 weeks
I got all
after
the
the
memories
game's
too.
launch. Oh, good for you. You go, champ. Proud of you. But yeah, 200 subscribers. We'll release a spoiler cast for Tears of the Kingdom, so get us there. We'd appreciate it as we climb ever closer and ever higher towards people recognizing us and accepting us. That'd be great. Thank you. It really does make us feel better about our lives. Please, I'm so desperate. Thank you. Anyway, PlayStation Showcase time. I just did what Jim Ryan did last Wednesday. I think it's fine. If he does it, I could do it. I can beg. I can beg when we under-deliver. It's fine. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway. PlayStation
At least I don't hate it
Showcase.
when you show up on my screen.
That's kind of you, Hunter, because if there's anything I hate, it's when I show up on the screen. So, at least
Oh,
one of
there's
us
no way you
enjoys
can
it.
hate when Jim Ryan shows up on your screen more, though.
Oh no, he saps the enthusiasm out of everything. I think it's like me and Cal watched this together, and I feel like you could just feel the energy. Me and Cal were like, we were like extremely excited, but we were vibing. We were like, hey, this might be good. And then
It
Jim
was
Ryan
something to do
appeared.
for an hour.
Yeah, and Jim Ryan appeared, and I think all the energy just sucked out of the room instantly, especially after
And
Fair
Jim
Games.
Ryan was like the first thing to show up.
After Fair
So,
Games. So yeah, that was
yeah.
a double whammy. Anyway, we'll talk all about it. Let's start with a baseline. We don't like scoring
Games.
games in terms. No, I'm talking. Let's just give a score of what we think
Oh.
the show was out of 5. We'll get into that. Let's start off because I'll be here, right? I'll start. I'm fine with this going first. I would give it a 2 out of 5 personally. On our scale, that means
Yeah,
what's,
if I was
what,
gonna rate it on the HGO scale,
On the
I would give
HGO
this one
scale,
an avoid. Read
yeah,
the
I'd-
recap and don't
yeah.
watch.
yeah. But I genuinely give it a 2 out of 5 on like a star system instead of the HGO system because I don't think there's ever going to be a show that's a must play. So it is what it is.
The closest we would have is like the E3 2016 conference or something.
That would be a must play of a E3 conference. But yeah, so I'd give it a 2 out of 5 because there was some good stuff. There was a couple of great indies and stuff, but it was a mess. The show was an absolute mess. There was nothing of substance that was worth an hour of your time.
It didn't do what it should have either.
No. It was a state of play hiding as a showcase, basically.
Yeah,
Right.
and it was like twice as long.
Spider-Man's too big for a state of play. So let's double it and make it a showcase. Just kind of seemed dumb. What do you think, Hunter? Where would you put it on the non-HGO scale of reviewing
I
conferences?
am in agreement that it would be a 2 out of 5. Yeah, all of that. Basically, there were a couple of things, like, for the first, I don't know, 30 minutes, I think, I was pretty alright with what I was seeing. I was like, okay, that was cool, that was cool. Some stuff here and there, and then it just took a hard nosedive in the second half.
You see, to me,
I'm
I
like,
was like,
oh,
there were some cool
this is
indies, but
bad.
I was like, this is a bad start. And then when Metal Gear was in the middle, I was like, oh no, that means Spider-Man's the end. Which I was like,
Yeah.
that's not a good sign if we're ending with what
No,
we already
yeah.
know is coming in the next 6 months. That's not good. Kyle, where would you put it?
Yeah, probably same as you guys. There wasn't really anything worth getting excited about that we didn't already know about.
You're telling me you're not
another Final Fantasy 16 trailer.
Which, if we can be blunt about
another
that,
Street Fighter
seen
6
enough
trailer.
of that fucker game, by the way. It's out in a month. I was like, don't need to see this. And it probably showed the ending at some point that we are just unaware of, so it's like, that's great. But yeah, it
Probably.
just...
But
was a
yeah,
load-
this is definitely like a read the Spark Notes kind of showcase.
Definitely. I agree with that. But anyway, speaking of Spark Notes, we're going to read them for you right now. So we're going to go through everything, and we're going to talk about what was great, what wasn't great. We've got it in order here. Big shout out to Games Radar. They've done a little nice.
Seriously,
little neat
thank you. It was nearly impossible to find a
You'd
source
think
that had
the
all of these announcements in
PlayStation
order.
blog would have put it in order
Dude,
since they had.
That was the first thing I checked. They had like 3 things in there.
Yeah, like I went to look too, like earlier, and then I realized you guys had a link, and I was like, oh, cool. I'll just use that.
I also want to give, like, they've done a great job. Thank you for doing this. But I also want to say that some of them don't have names in them as well. So fuck you for that one as well, though, Games Radar. Like, come on now. You could have put Helldivers 2 instead of one of 2015's best shooters. Just saying. Please and thank you. Love you, but also not good. Anyway, let's start. Anyway,
But get real.
let's start, because if there's one thing that I want to say about this thing was we got like 5 first-party games in this, or PlayStation Studios things, and that's a lie. There's only 4 because I'm counting the Gran Turismo trailer from PlayStation Productions as a thing on that list. Right, anyway, Fair Games is a new game. It is by Jade Redmond's. I can't say her name.
Jade Raymond.
Raymond. Thank you. Gosh, I can't say her
Does sound
name.
like a hard name.
It's a hard name.
I was
to
about to screw it up for a second because of the way that Ethan had said it. The
Try
previous
saying
4
Jade Raymond
seconds.
5 times without looking at it in an article. Anyway, yeah, this is Fair Games. It's one of their new games as a service games from Sony, first party now, and it looks basically like Watch Dogs meets Payday. Basically,
Yeah,
is what it looks
I
like
got
to
a
me.
Payday vibe from this. I haven't played Payday, but it's what I think of when I look at Payday.
Which, here's the
So-
thing, right? Is Sony is doing what Sony clowned Xbox on doing 5 years ago in the great little heated war where Xbox had no games and Sony did, was Xbox kept doing all these CG trailers that were nothing but filler, and look at this, shiny, this game's never coming out. Wonderful. And now here we are 5 years later, and Sony is now doing the exact same thing. This was a CG trailer. No fucking clue what the hell this game is, other than, hey, we hate corporations and we hate big money makers. Let's steal it.
Thank
and
you,
I
big
was-
money maker and
Thank you, big money
corporation
maker.
that
Yeah.
fired your smaller studios.
And I feel like the thing that sucks about this game, like as soon as someone pointed this out to me, I was like, we have a problem with this CGI trailer, because I was watching Kyle Bosman, Delayed Input, if you're on YouTube, if you're interested. He does a load of goofy stuff. He noticed this, and I was like, it's so stupid, but I'm like, that does make sense. The whole trailer's like building up. Corporations suck. We're gonna steal from the rich. We're gonna steal from the billionaires. We're gonna take the money back and deliver it to everybody. Like, we're gonna be the saviors. And then they go in, and then they notice another group of people are stealing from this billionaire, and they start shooting at
Why
them.
are they fighting each other?
Why are they?
That was-
Why are people fighting each other? Like,
I was
it
perplexed
doesn't-
by that too. At first, I thought one of them was a security team, and I'm like, wait, no, they're both thieves.
No, they're both yeah.
What's the difference? Who cares?
So I was just like,
Split it.
that seems stupid. But oh well. I mean, there's not really much to say about it. I'd like to see some gameplay. That'd be nice. I don't want to judge it until I see it. All I do want to know is in the bottom middle of the screen at the start, it said "Take it till you make it," and I was like, "Oh, is that the name of the game? I like that name." And then the actual name came up, and I was like, "Take it till you make it" was better. I don't like Fair
Yeah.
Games at all. It doesn't
Fair
sound
game
right.
dollar sign is not as good of a name.
Should have gone with "Take it till you make it." That's an actually fun name. But oh well. Bungie accepted this
fun
one as
allowed.
valid, unlike The Last of Us Faction, so it must be good. Thank you, Bungie. Very cool. Anyway, this was one that made me kind of excited. Ghost Runner 2 is coming to PS5 and coming soon.
Oh yeah,
It is
this was
a
cool
it's a
announcement.
cyborg
looked
ninja
cool.
parkour game that now has a motorbike. Thank you. That's just what I needed. But no, I really liked the first Ghost Runner. It was kind of a sleeper thing when it came to PS Extra. I kind of jumped on it and it was really fun.
Yeah,
and to
every
PS
time I've
Now.
heard you talk about it, I've been like, I should play that someday. Haven't got to it yet, but I still really want to sometime because it seems really cool, and I'd be interested in playing the second one as well.
Yeah, this
So
is
that was a
this
cool
is
one
the
to
first
see.
example, by the way, of a game that is also coming to Xbox and PC. Xbox did clown on them by having a whole list of games that are coming to Xbox as well.
Yeah.
Spoiler
Yeah.
alert: it's like 90% of the games on this list. Again, not
That
what
was
we expect from a
raw tweet
PlayStation.
from Xbox.
It's because PlayStation has clowned on them that many times. I'm like, you take that W, Xbox. You deserve it, to be honest.
It's like
at this
Honestly.
point.
It's like if Jeff Keighley had a fumble and E3 had something funny to say afterwards. It's like the equivalent of that.
Because here's the thing: say what you want about Xbox, right? Yeah, Xbox has no games. Yeah, but when they do these kind of shows and they show these third-party games, it usually comes with a available day one on Game Pass. You stupid idiot!
Mhm.
Look at that. You don't have to pay. You just have to give Microsoft your subscription money. Nothing here on Sony. It's just, hey, Ghost Runner 2, that's a thing. You can buy it at some point if you want. And I probably will at some point down the line. Maybe at launch. We'll see how much it launches for and what the schedule's like. We'll see. But no, it was a cool trailer. Anyway, second PlayStation Studios logo was for Helldivers 2, which is a game that some people I've at least heard of, and
Yeah,
people seem to
yeah.
like. So yeah,
I played
Helldivers
this with my
2,
brother for a little bit back when the first one came out.
2015. It's been 8 years. So there you go. Finally, Helldivers is returning. I'm not gonna lie. Other than Spider-Man, which was obviously an Insomniac game, so obviously it looks great. To me, this is the thing I was like, that's cool, and it looks like it'll be decent. It looks like it'll be a decent time. It's not my cup of tea, but I
Yeah.
like that PlayStation makes some
It's
smaller games as well. So
I could be persuaded to play this one potentially with a friend, as opposed to like the other game that opened the show. I'd probably be like, nah, pass on that one, pal.
Take It To Make It seems like a game that I'd play if it was on PS Extra, and people were like, nah, trust me, it's actually pretty good. Then I'd be like, okay, fine, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's fair enough. Immortals of Avium, which is that first-person shooter that looks like a Doom that looks like Doom with wizardry, is coming to PS5.
Oh,
Yeah.
That looked cool, but my god, was the dialogue cringy as anything. Like, it was one of those things where I was like, shut up, stop playing the cutscenes, just show the cool magic Doom gun thing. I'm like, please.
Yeah, this one was funny for me to watch because I was like seeing it, I'm like, okay, the magic and stuff looks cool. But also the last time I looked at a game and thought that it was
Forspoken.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh,
Oh.
even worse.
Even
And I was
worse.
like, I got pretty jebaited by that one, so I'll have to wait to see how this one looks, or how people talk about this one.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? We'll have to see. I thought, like I say, I looked like the gameplay looked like it was quite fun, but the plot and the story was getting in the way of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But oh well. Phantom Blade Zero is coming to PS5, which looks like a samurai Souls-like game, which was for a
This
lot
game
of
looked
people,
fucking sick.
especially Twitter.
Oh yeah, this game
Star of the
was
show.
my favorite thing at the show. It
Only
looks
to
really
have
cool.
the trailer end and not even have a release year.
Yeah, but
Which prompted Ethan to say, we're never seeing this game again.
probably. But
Here's the thing,
the
yeah,
idea of this
it looks
game looks
cool, though.
cool.
It looks so cool.
My only
The
thing
guy did a
is,
cool little kick and a stab in two different directions at the same time. That was
that was the
sick.
point to everybody that was like, okay, cool, this is where we start. It's how fluid the gameplay looks.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, like, it feels like a game. It's like, I have to see someone hands with the controller here, because a lot of people saying it's a new Souls-like game, and I was, from the
Doesn't-
gameplay,
That
it looked
looked
more
like-
like a Sifu kind of game to me, where it looked
Yeah.
like it was more like. It
That's more
looks,
like a
it's
Ninja
more,
Gaiden
it's
or a
more,
Devil May
yeah, it's
Cry.
more, it looks like it was more style over substance in a way, where I was like, it's going to look flashy as hell and you're going to feel cool doing it, but I didn't think it was going to be like a super, like, miss a move and you die kind of thing. We'll see what it's like. It looks
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
All
it
I'll
looks
say
like
was,
it's got some kind of middle point between the the Dark Souls and Devil May Cry. Like it looks faster and stuff than Dark Souls, but it seems like maybe being smacked a couple of times might kill you.
yeah, it's interesting. I heard somewhere down the line, I was like, this will be great. I hope it's like a 15-hour thing, 20-hour thing. That'd be great. I've already heard rumors
Yeah.
that they're aiming for a 35 to 40-hour main campaign, so
No.
that I'm already
What?
like, okay,
Why?
some flags are triggering, but
Oh,
we'll see.
why would you do this? That's
And
not
just
the
like
chosen
that, you
one.
lost me.
You were the chosen one. Why? Oh well. But yeah, that was cool. From
The
next
Journey
up was Sword of the
people.
Sea. From some of the
Oh,
team on Journey.
yeah.
More importantly, they're the people that did Abzu and the Pathless. So if you've played either of those games, which I played the Pathless earlier this year actually, it's the new game from them, which is basically Journey with surfboards. So if you have been interested in a game of Journey with surfboards, you've come to the right place.
It's very funny. It looks like they took, Journey, the whole look and vibe of that, and then it's like, wow, we made Abzu right after that. Or a lot of us made Abzu right after working on Journey. Let's bring the ocean in here too.
And then they also
that's-
were like, we just made this really fluid movement system with the bow and sliding in the Pathless. So let's have you slide down sand dunes on a surfboard. So it was like it's like the amalgamation of everything they've worked on. It's like the Journey aesthetic with it's everything.
It should look really cool. Like they were already on a good start when they had the guy, and then it was like, oh, he's surfing down a sand thing. That was the most distinct part of Journey, was that the sunset and the surfing down or sliding down the sand dunes, and doing that there, and then getting a half pipe. That was sweet.
But no, I
So-
kind of I liked the Pathless quite a bit, so I'm actually interested in this one. We'll see how it comes out. It's pretty good. I have a physical of Pathless. It was a good time.
Oh, nice.
Talos Principle 2 is coming to PS5. Never played it, but people like the original Talos Principle, so it's a puzzle
The
game.
environments
You can
in
play
this
it.
trailer looked very interesting as far as just the massive statues and stuff. I was like, huh, neat.
Next up is Neither, however you want to pronounce it. It's the next game from the Gree developers, which looks like a sad time that I'm sure that many people will have a fun time with. I really like the art style. I'll give it that.
Yeah,
But
the
I
art
also like the
style's
art style of
cool.
Gree, so
The depressing premise piques my interest. I would like to know what the game actually is, but
and it's not coming out till next year, so I don't think you're going to see it again for a little while. But
yeah,
And it's
can't
also
have
going to be
anything in
available on
PlayStation.
everything.
yeah. I also think the Sword of the Sea is also going to be available on other things as well. So
Probably, yeah.
and Phantom Blade Zero. Should we mention that as well? That is also coming to other things at some point, I believe.
Yeah.
So everything is coming so far. Next up, now this is where you knew that this was what
The turning point.
separates a state of play from a PlayStation showcase, baby. And
right.
I'm being completely sarcastic when I say Cat Quest Pirates of the Caribbean is coming to
The name made me
PS5.
laugh, and then they showed me the game, and I'm like, oh,
And
never mind.
Yeah, this point
Never
here
mind, I'm
was
not
where
gonna
I was
draft
like,
this one.
yeah, this is a fucking like. Don't get me wrong, people like these Cat's Quest games. People seem to like them quite a bit, but I'm like, this isn't kind of PlayStation showcase material. Like, who was coming up with this?
This is I got this in December on PS Plus back in 2016 game.
Especially when it's like we had a lot of indies, and already at this point, I was like, this is a lot of indies for a PlayStation showcase because State of Play is full of indies. That's like, but PlayStation showcases are usually like a select few, like half a dozen indies, and the rest of it is like third party and then first party big announcements. And this is where I was like, we've had like so many indie projects back to back to back to back to back, and then we get Cat Quest, and I'm like, can't get fucking worse than Cat Quest. No offense, Cat Quest. And by that, I just mean by hype killer, not by quality of the game. Then we get worse with hype killers and quality of game with the next one, which was Foam Stars by Square Enix.
Thank you, Square Enix.
Who decided to ask the question, what if we made a Splatoon clone that took a bit of personality from Persona 5 and looked like ass, looked like it was ready to run on Switch, and then is only on PS4 and PS5? Well, that's Foam Stars, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Foam Stars.
It's gonna be their Balan Wonderworld Babylon's Fall of 2024.
Hear me out. Strong prediction. I think it's going to not be as bad as those two games. And by that, I mean, I think it's going to get like a 58. Slightly better.
Yeah.
It just seems generic. That's my thing with it. And the graphics don't look great.
Why is it why was the gameplay so hazy?
My favorite part of that trailer is
it looked like I was stuck trying to wake up.
Like literally
the whole time I was looking at it.
The only trailers I rewatched was Spider-Man in 4K, and I went to Foam Stars because I wanted to laugh at the transition between the CGI trailer and the gameplay again. Because I haven't seen a step down like that in forever, like since like early Switch. Like it's been crazy.
It was funny too because like the CGI didn't do anything for me either. The premise, I'm like, oh, I thought that was like, oh, Square Enix is doing an Overwatch clone. Good job.
It just seems
Can't wait
very
for you to cancel it. And then it was it's a Splatoon clone. Okay.
Which I'm fine with. People were like, oh, look how unique and I'm like, I'm fine with someone making a Splatoon clone.
I'm honestly shocked that it's taken this long for someone to try and copy Splatoon.
There's nothing wrong with someone going, hey, they've made a quirky new idea, let's do our take on it. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. If it looked better, I'd be more receptive to it.
If it looked good, I'd be like, hell yeah, that's great. Good for them. But it just didn't. That was not a good, strong first showing. Let's hope they might clean it up a bit. Or cancel it. Who knows? Next up, The Plucky Squire got another trailer and is still confirmed for this year. This game still looks incredible.
It sure does. Man, it looks like the people who made this game were really big fans of A Link Between Worlds.
Oh, definitely. That's 100% this game's inspiration is A Link Between Worlds. Like, it screams it.
And I can't wait because it looks really cool.
And you got a great team behind it. You've got I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I think it's definitely James, but the guy that's the first foreigner that worked on Pokemon James Turner.
Oh,
That's his name. He
oh,
moved over to make this new company and make Plucky Squire, and it's got his art all over it. He was really a huge kind of Pokemon designer in Gen 5 onwards. You know, he designed Vanillux and all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, you can tell from that kind of Pokemon design, you can see where he came from. But no, I think that game's going to be great. But you've shown a lot now. I think next trailer, just give us a release date and release that bad boy, you know?
yeah.
This is like the third or fourth trailer. We've seen enough. Next up is a game that I forgot that was happening. Teardown. It's the Minecraft blocky looking one.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Minecraft at home.
The best heist game you've never played is coming to PS5.
Well, it looks like the point of this one is to destroy things more than it is to build things. So
Yeah.
And it looks
know.
fine, but again, this is
Yeah, it
like
looks
PlayStation
fine.
Showcase. This is something that I feel like 2 years ago we'd be clowning
People were ready
Xbox
to
on.
crown this the best show of the summer last week before they got a sniff of anything that was happening.
and can I
It
just
seemed
already
like
say,
a sure thing. It was hilarious.
I've already seen people talking about Xbox's show and trying to hype that one up. I'm like, we're not doing this twice. You fucked us with the PlayStation one. We're not doing this again. Especially because everyone was like, oh, guys, Last of Us will be at Jeff Keighley's. I'm like, will it now? Will it really? I think we're never seeing it. But, you know,
And in
we'll
the
talk
day
about
in
that later.
between, I thought that might be the case, but now
Not
I'm not
anymore.
so sure.
It's a ghost town hunter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up, the biggest surprise of the show. No one knew this one was coming. Metal Gear Solid
Not at
3
all.
remake announced with a new Metal Gear Solid collection coming. That is Volume 1, which includes Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, and Metal Gear 1 and 2. Which is cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm more excited for the collection than I am for the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm glad to
yeah.
have the collection able to be played on something that isn't the PS3 or
And
Vita.
it's just Volume 1, and you'd hope with... I've
Yeah.
seen the wording that they've been talking about. They're like, they're like, we're trying to make every Metal Gear available on modern platforms. They're trying to do that, which the wording of all of that with the press release makes me believe that Metal Gear 4 will be probably being ported, I hope.
Yeah, like
is the dream.
surely they would have 4 in the next one. Like it'd be real stupid to go give you Peace Walker, Portable Ops, and 5 and exclude 4. Like hypothetically, I think the fourth or volume 2 would be like Metal Gear Solid 4, Peace Walker, and maybe like Revengeance.
That's what I think. I think that's what the
Revengeance.
second one will be.
That's what I think it should be, because Portable Ops I feel like you could leave to the very end because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Metal
or
Gear
it'll be
Solid
Portable
5 is
Ops
available
and
already.
Volume 3 will just be... I feel like Volume 3 is going to be this very much, you didn't have to do this one where it'll be like, Revengeance will be cool and that'll be the thing that they'll sell it on. And then it's also like, and also,
Yeah.
we've brought Ground Zeroes and Metal Gear 5 up to PS5, like the rest of them. And it's like, so then everything's available on PS5 and Xbox Series X would be the assumption that you'd make there. And PC, which would be cool. I really hope, especially for Metal Gear 4 especially. What are you feeling about Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater? Not Triangle, Delta. I looked that up before we started today. I was still calling it Triangle.
It was funny. I saw the triangle too, and despite knowing that it was probably Delta, I also called it Triangle.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, nice. Oh, it was for being another CG trailer to just prove that the thing is, publicly state that it's being worked on. It was pretty good.
It's weird though. It's weird though because they had screenshots.
Yeah, it is weird. They had screenshots and
the game's apparently coming out next year. That's what everyone's saying, is this game's been worked on for ages. It's coming out next year.
It is perplexing. There are other weird things about it. Like there's Konami's logo wasn't anywhere to be seen. They didn't even tell us
the development team.
The development. I hope development team is just what the studio is called now.
Be funny. There's a load of stuff, right? They talked about voice acting and they were like, the original voice cast is returning. And we don't know if that means that they're just using the original voice acting from the original game and porting it in, or if they're bringing David Hayter and everyone back to do it all again. We don't know. It's very weird.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the trailer itself, if this wasn't basically guaranteed by the rumors for the past 3 weeks, this would have been substantially more exciting, but it was still nice to see the wind up to it and all that. I was like, because I still didn't know for sure in the first couple of shots if this was gonna be the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. I was like, oh, this looks kind of jungly. And then I saw the poison dart frog. I'm like, oh. And then I saw the parrot, and I'm like, oh, here it is. Yeah, like,
It's just
cool.
It's interesting, but also it's like, can we trust Konami? I don't think so.
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
interesting.
My faith in this is higher than Silent Hill.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? It's like we don't know who's making this remake for Delta.
I don't, but I know that Bloober Team is making the other remake.
Yeah, but it could be even worse. You could like get to the other side
possible,
of the.
But
They could be making this as well. You never know. Like, they might...
My God. I can only imagine how they would boondoggle the Sorrow encounter.
But it's interesting, and like I say, the original is going to be available, which is going to be fun for me because I think
that's the other thing, because it doesn't matter if this is bad since the original is now possible.
Oh, and I 100% am planning to play the collection version of 3 first because it's out first, so I'm just going to play it probably and then play the remake.
Because it's
I can't guarantee the quality. This isn't a Capcom remake. I can't.
Despite this being announced, we could still just never see this. I don't know.
100%. 100%. You never know.
But I would like to believe for now until I talk myself out of it in a couple months.
Yeah, you'd hope anyway, wouldn't you?
Or maybe they'll show gameplay and it will look good. I don't know.
Towers of Ighasper? I'm going to go with that. It's that Breath of the Wild looking game that probably won't play as good as Breath of the Wild.
Probably not.
It's coming.
It looks kind of cool as far as the aesthetics, but the gameplay that they seemed to show, it was very much collect things and build stuff, and I'm like, don't want to.
Yeah.
Maybe I could be convinced if I saw something else, but
Yeah, it looked fine. It didn't look.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything.
Sure looked like a video game.
It looked like a video game as the compliment.
I like the giant creatures he kind of flew onto there. They look cool.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16 got another trailer
that we didn't
showing
need.
something. I just heard Clive. I giggled and I stopped paying attention because I was like, I've seen enough. I don't need to see more of this game anymore.
No demo.
No demo. Not coming.
That would have been the only reason to have one of these. Would have been, in my opinion, like you didn't need another trailer. There's like 7 of these.
Especially if you're not releasing the demo.
Yeah, it's like if you were gonna have a demo, at least fine, you have a thing to put the demo out now on the end of. But that wasn't there, so there was no point.
I'm like, it seems stupid. Again, if you're going to do something that you don't need to release the trailer for the demo, then do something for Rebirth. Why are you doing this for? It seems silly. Anyway, oh well. Alan Wake 2 has got a release date and a second trailer. It's coming out in October and it's digital only. I'm gonna put a prediction on this one. I think this game's coming in hot. I don't think this game's gonna. I think this game is either gonna miss this window entirely and get delayed, or I think it's gonna come out and it's gonna not be 100% ready. Because I don't know why. I feel like this game has gone through its cycle way too quickly, and I don't know why that is. But it's like I feel like we have known with like Alan Wake 2. There was like we've started development. Here's an early like teaser, and that was like last year at some point, and now it's like hey,
it was like 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago? It's like here we are. I'm like it seems really quick, but
I don't know. Remedy, it's weird because Remedy seems to be spinning like 700 projects at once all the time over
Control
there now.
2 is in the works as well at the same time.
So it's a little weird. From what they showed, it looks like, and the fact that they've already said that it's actually like in the direction of a genuine horror game makes me believe that, the gameplay of this one could actually be more focused and less like a PS3 game. Because I did not like the actual act of playing the first Alan Wake. I liked the story and I liked the environment and stuff. I did not like the part where it asked me to do things. So if they could fix that for this second game, that'd be great.
Yeah. It's interesting. We'll see. Yeah, like I said, it's only digital, so no physical copy. So it's there. Speaking of October, Assassin's Creed Mirage is also coming out in October. October's really stacked, especially if you're a horror fan this year. So that is interesting. But yeah,
You said that on the back of saying that Assassin's Creed is
well,
coming
no, because there was
out.
another couple of games that I know are also coming in October. I was like, that weren't
Yeah.
in the showcase, but are horror games. So
Yeah.
but yeah, this is also October 12th. Assassin's Creed Mirage is finally out, which is a weird one because they announced this like a year ago, and then they said 2023, and everyone's like, okay. Assassin's Creed aren't announced early, so we're assuming it's going to be like March, and nope, October. It's finally here. It looks like Assassin's Creed. They have said that they've confirmed that it's 15 hours long, the main story, and I'm like, okay, I'm in, but I swear to God, Ubisoft, this is your last straw. You cannot do this to me again.
It's
We'll
funny
see.
how this is one of the games that had the most gameplay shown, even though Ubisoft is burning down, or the offices of Ubisoft are burning down around the developers who made this game as they were doing it.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. I'm optimistic about this game. It looks fun, and the bits
Yeah,
that I've
it looked
seen,
like old Assassin's Creed.
It looked cool.
So
it looks like it's taken in.
if you've been recently victimized by Valhalla like you have, it will be a nice breath of fresh air.
Yeah, and it looks like it's taken some things from future games. Like it looks like it's taken the system from Unity that I really liked, where it was like you've got a target in the middle of this building, and there's like 6 different ways for you to sort it out. Off you go. It looks like it's doing that kind of level design, and I really like that. So I'm hoping that that is true. But I'm hopeful. Who knows? Anyway, Revenant Hill is coming to PS5 at some point. This is from the developers of Night in the Woods. And
Yeah,
it doesn't seem to
I
be a Night in the
recognized the
Woods
cat.
2, but it is looks like it's a successor to it, look like anyway.
I read the description of that game, and I don't really remember a lot of the specifics, but it was like so weird.
I can read it. After the barn he was
Yeah.
living in burns down, Twigs the cat takes up residence in a wet log near an abandoned graveyard. When the owl from the next hill over starts demanding rent, Twigs must find a way to make ends meet. And he becomes by becoming a witch's familiar. So he's trying to become a witch's familiar to pay the rent to the owl that is demanding it for his wet log. It seems stupid, but I love
Sounds like
it.
something I'd play.
Again, it looks fun. It doesn't fit the vibe of a PlayStation Showcase in the slightest, but it looks good.
Yeah.
I like it. Anyway, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink got a Winter 2023 launch. Kyle perked up for 2 seconds.
Dude, Grand Blue's fucking cool. There's a fighting game based on it. I think it's like this mobile gotcha. It started off as like this mobile gotcha game.
Yes, Arc System Works took an anime adjacent series, and made a fighting game. So of course that part was cool. This looked like Diet Tales of Arise with an MMO structure.
And people will buy it, and it's coming to PS5. Street Fighter 6 got a new trailer. Again, feels like a game.
Didn't need it.
Seen enough of this fucking game now. Don't need it.
The
this
one
beta
kind
was
of
out.
made me laugh
We
because
didn't
of
need
like
it.
because of the creative fighter guy, and Ryu just like talking to him, and I'm like, is Ryu about to just start throwing hands with this dude, and this just regular dude?
This
Well,
guy.
there was the one shot of Ken, and he looked so fucking goofy. Like it was just like not in a bad way, but he's like, when I picture Ken now, I picture his Smash design at the moment because it's like the most recent thing that I've seen him in. And then it's like now looking at him here, and I'm like, this goofy looking ass with his stupid smile. Like, this is funny.
You should have you seen him in Street Fighter 5?
His stupid Play-Doh hair.
He looks like a
well,
doofus.
he does look awful. Yeah. Next up is
Ultros.
Ultros, which I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've forgotten which one this is.
I
it's
don't
the
remember.
weird
It's
one.
it's the sci-fi Metroidvania looking Cronenberg art style looking thing. It as far as these kind of games go, it has a unique visual identity.
It did, but I don't know if it'll. I feel like it's gonna wear on people. I feel like it's gonna be one of those things. Where,
Yeah, I feel
cool,
like
and you
there are
get sick
plenty of
it.
people who are like, this hurts my eyes and I can't play
I've seen it
it.
in my eyes. I was one of them. Yeah, that's
They're
coming.
all weak.
Here's one that a lot of people were excited about. Dragon's Dogma 2 gets a gameplay trailer, and it is releasing at some point in the future for PlayStation 5. Good for you. If you Dragon's Dogma fans, you've waited, and you will receive a new game.
I never played the first one, but I always kind of wanted to try it. I'd be interested in playing this one.
People really like the original, apparently.
The audio balancing on the dialogue in this trailer was out of control. Like, it was
Japanese
like
game,
everyone was
terrible.
whispering to it.
Like, I feel like the only person that does audio balancing in Japanese trailers is Kojima. Like, he does it well. But that's because he sits there with his own version of Premiere Pro doing it himself. Yeah. With an audio guy next to him. Every Japanese trailer, it's like the Kingdom Hearts trailers. Remember the Kingdom Hearts trailers for Kingdom Hearts 3 that had no sound effects? Yeah, like, stupid. And it played a Don't Think Twice over every single one of them. And it was so goofy, you know, just stupid. But hey, there you go. Here's one for the children. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2 announced for late 2023. So you can
I saw the picture in the corner and I immediately just started talking to my brother.
I said to Kyle, it's Five Nights at Freddy's, time to cry. I was like, cringe.
We were just sitting there talking smack about the people my age and how they let this happen. And then by the time that it got to the stupid scare at the end, I wasn't even looking at the screen. I just kind of saw that happen. It was like that low-key gif, like, well, anyway.
Yep. So anyway, that is coming to PlayStation late 2023, just in time for you to go and watch the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, come home and play Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2, and if you're not sick of it by that point, you can also go play the DLC for the last Five Nights at Freddy's, because that's also getting a DLC this year. But there's never enough Five Nights at Freddy's for all you 8-year-olds. Remember those good jump scares? That's the thing, is, wasn't even a fucking good jump scare, guys. Like, from someone who hates jump scares, not even good jump scare.
Didn't get Ethan.
Didn't get me.
Oh my god, it didn't get him.
No.
Oh man.
It was like,
it really was bad.
It's pretty bad. Now for good horror, if you are 9 years old and have grown out of Five Nights at Freddy's, here's one for you. Resident Evil 4 is getting a VR mode. And when we say VR mode, the whole game's coming to VR, which I'm actually kind of surprised with. But hey ho, the whole story from start to finish will be playable in VR at some point in the future. Capcom's done an amazing job of these in the past with obviously 7 and 8, so
yeah.
I feel like this one's even more impressive though, because they're turning a third-person game into a VR first-person experience. That's crazy.
Yeah, and this one's way more heavy on like the things you have to do in it. And from what I heard about people with the original version's VR port or whatever, talking about how the actual active reload and the stuff makes playing the game a completely different experience.
Yeah. One thing I liked that they showed was that they had both your weapons in your hands, so you had the handgun and the knife just both available to you at all times.
Yeah, I like the idea of having to parry Chainsaw Man by actually fucking getting your knife up in his
grill. Great.
Yeah, it's cool. If they ever drop the price of PSVR 2 and I get one, it'll be on my list. That'll be the one that I play in VR, 100%. And like I say, I'm very impressed that it's the whole game, because when they said there was a VR mode coming, I was very going to be like, okay, it's going to be something like a couple of missions or like a little experience.
Or like they would have given you a mercenaries mode.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. But the whole game, that's pretty impressive. So good job, everybody. Arizona Sunshine 2 got announced with a really awful trailer. It was that Fred zombie one thing, and it was all it all looked like gameplay, but then it said at the bottom not gameplay, and it was all not. So it was all CG, and it looked really bad.
I was I was unaware that there was an Arizona Sunshine one.
Yep, same. Crossfire Sierra Squad got a trailer that looks fun. Looks like a generic shooter, to be honest. Synapse is coming to PSVR 2. I don't remember that one at all.
Neither do I. Moving on.
PS. No, I'm going to give it a chance by giving it a screenshot. Oh, yeah, it was the first-person shooter one with the super hot-looking thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Beat Saber is on PSVR 2 today, and by today, I mean last Wednesday. It's a free upgrade, which is more than most for most games, so apparently all your DLC crosses over as well, so good on Beat Saber, I guess. There's now a reason to own a PSVR 2 again, everybody. Congratulations, get your lightsabers ready, because that's all you're going to be playing on it again until Resident Evil 4 comes out, and then you can bin it. Good job. Destiny 2, oh, here we go. Well, Bungie showed up at the end and was like, hey guys, I'm going to release a new game for the first time in like a decade. Just hold my fucking beer real quick. And then it turned out it was just a revival of a really old IP that they had before Halo called Marathon. And it's an online PvP game. It's one of those extraction shooter kind of games. Don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but it's kind of like Escape from Tarkov. It's like you get jumped into a world. You have to kind of extract. You have to kind of extract from a world. Yeah. while
Yeah.
other people are hunting you down and trying to do the same thing. So it'll be interesting. Like I say, first new IP from also available on everything because Bungie, even though it's owned by PlayStation, is completely independent. They release on everything, so that's coming. Destiny 2 is getting another expansion, and it seems like they have buried that much that they've had to bring Cade 6 back for at least one expansion. So he's back, everybody. Nathan Fillion's back as well. So it's been 5 years since they killed him. It's about time they dig him back up and force him to be in an expansion again. So it's happening.
Oh man, we're gonna get to that point with Iron Man soon.
I can't wait. It's gonna be really soon if they keep up. Oh Jesus. Anyway, Concord is the fourth PlayStation Studios game. Was it fourth or third? Actually, I lied. It's the third. There's only three so far,
God.
and all it was a CGI trailer with a burger shaking in a spaceship. That's all that fucking was. And like, who knows what that is?
Yeah, I know that it's in space, and that's the most nebulous concept that you could possibly
Which is
give.
stupid, because if it's a PvP first-person shooter, again, you own Bungie. You already have Destiny. Why would you
Yeah.
go out of
You
your way
already
to
have
make
a
something that
space
competes
shooter.
with it? Dumb. Anyway, but it's there. It exists.
It does.
And
And so does Project
it's
Q.
fucking hell. Project Q is a Wii U Playmobil tablet for the PlayStation 5 that lets you stream your PS5 to it. It is a glorified phone app on a screen with a DualSense sandwiched in between. There you go. Good job, everybody. Apparently, it has a 4-hour battery life as well. Excellent. So
Epic.
enjoy, everybody. What a joke of an idea this is. Like, genuinely.
Honestly.
Yeah.
What a joke. Like, it's just dumb.
They split a DualSense in half and put a screen on it.
I just don't see who it's for at all. Like, no one's gonna buy this.
Why would I care about, like, because it needs a Wi-Fi connection, so it doesn't do the thing that the Switch would do, where I could play it wherever I feel like.
It's stupid.
So so if I have a Wi-Fi connection, I'm probably at home.
Yeah. Or no one's gonna go, oh, hang on a second, I'm gonna go on holiday and let me just make sure my PS5 is in rest mode and then go and fly to the other side of the world and hope I have extremely good internet so I can play my Project Q, baby. Hell yeah. It's dumb. It's
like if
dumb.
I just had to play something and was also hanging out at a friend's place, maybe, but it's still stupid. I wouldn't do that.
No. You're not gonna do that. At least the earbuds are earbuds,
Yeah.
They're stupid again.
Earbuds
but
have a utility.
they have a utility. Project Q is stupid, and if you buy a Project Q, you're also stupid. I don't want to be mean, but you kind of are, bro. Buy a fucking tablet. It's probably $200. Buy a backbone for your iPhone if you care that much, dude. Like, Jesus Christ, like, just buy a controller for your phone. Like, it's not hard. It's dumb. Anyway, they ended the show with Marvel Spider-Man 2. They introduced this little unknown character called Kraven the Hunter, showed off Peter Parker going Spider-Man 3 emo mode, and are still saying coming this year, no date. And people have been shitting on this gameplay. I thought it was fine, personally.
I mean, I think the gameplay
sure looked
that
like
they
Spider-Man.
showed was fine. It's just, I think it went on for too long.
I don't disagree. I feel like I don't see why people were shitting on it. I feel like it looks better than the PS4 version.
Yeah.
The gameplay's way quicker than the PS4 version. That's the thing that's using the SSD is how quickly you're zipping around. I think that the web wings are really cool and a good idea to bring into the movement. But
Yeah,
I
if you're
also
going to be
thought,
exploring the parts of New York that don't have the giant buildings to swing off of, you need
Yeah.
some other way to keep the mobility around.
100%. And I thought that it was I thought that the wind lines as you were flying through the rings were a bit over the top. It didn't need that much going on, but I was like, it's pretty cool how quick you're flying around.
I feel like I could do the UI is a little bit busier, which I don't like.
It has Xenoblade UI, which I'm not a fan of, to be honest, because I'm like, we don't need the chunky triangles and everything being in the center. I don't like that. I like my UI on the fucking side, so it doesn't get in the way of anything. So I'm hoping that the UI was a bit earlier, like a bit pre-pro, and still gonna be tuned a tiny bit. That's my hope. I did love the fact that Miles's UI is different to Peter's though, and that Miles has has neon like colors and interactions with all the UI when he's doing like quick times. That's cool. I like that. Giving them personality between them is pretty cool. I like that. And then the Venom powers, they looked like a build up. They looked fine. They were decent.
Yeah, they look fine. I like the little rapid fire kick, like the little rapid fire machine gun kick move that he did as the. I think it was
dude,
the
he kicked him in
finisher or
the
something.
balls, dude. Like, what the hell? Like,
It was so good.
like I saw someone joke and be like, "Oh, damn, bro, Peter's handing out free vasectomies," and I'm like, "It's true. That guy's never having kids again. That's dumb. Like that poor man. I don't care if he works for Craven. That's just harsh, dude. Like, oh my." But yeah,
Remember, Spider-Man doesn't kill people.
he just kicks you in the nuts till they don't work anymore.
Just neuters them.
Yeah, just. Oh, but yeah, I mean, it looks
better
good
in the long run.
I think it won't come out September though. If they're not putting the date up now, I think it's going to be October or November probably. Which Spider-Man can release whenever the hell Spider-Man wants to release. Frankly,
Yeah,
there are very few games that will stand in its way. So
yeah. It's not like they care about missing the window to be nominated for awards, because not gonna beat Zelda.
No one's beating Zelda at this point. Everyone knows. Like I suggest to Jeff Keighley that we have a not Zelda award for the game of the year that wasn't Zelda, because I feel like it's getting stupid now. Because From released a game, they instantly get a game of the year. God of War gave up a good fight, but you know we all knew that it wasn't winning.
There doesn't seem to be a
Zelda.
God of War this year.
Same with Zelda. We've technically had them if we have, because it's like I think the closest score we're getting is Hi-Fi Rush with a 91 or something, and it's like, or even
Resident
then that's
Evil.
and Resi 4 with a 92, and it's like that's it. That's as close as we're
Final
getting.
Fantasy if it's really good.
Final Fantasy don't have a fucking chance. I'm telling you that right now. Doesn't have a fucking chance.
I don't think so either. I was just.
And that's your show, basically.
Yeah. And that was an hour.
And that was an hour of your life.
Did we gloss over the fact that they showed us a movie trailer? Because I felt like I got transported to Jeff Keighley's thing there.
Fucking hate this. This is stupid. Why do we have to
I never
see
want to see from PlayStation showcases ever again? Don't ever show me Jim Ryan's face, and don't show me your movie trailers. I don't care about either of those.
The stream started an hour before the showcase. If you want to show me a shitty Gran Turismo trailer, show it me the 2 minutes before the fucking showcase starts and be like, have the countdown still on the corner and have the Gran Turismo trailer playing if you want to show it to all the normie, like the gamers who are not going to go and watch Gran Turismo starring David Harbour and Orlando Bloom. No one's going to go see that shit.
Orlando Bloom's in that movie?
They got Legolas.
What? Orlando Bloom plays the guy that's
himself.
Yeah, it's like he's a gamer. Like yeah, stupid. Anyway, that was the showcase. It was fucking dumb. And it was like it
really was.
Oh, that's one way to put it.
Like literally, we had 4 PlayStation Studios games. Here we go. Fair games, wah wah. Helldivers 2 is good for the 5 people that care. You have Burger fucking Simulator in space and Spider-Man, and that was it.
That we already knew was coming.
Technically, we already knew all of these games were coming, because Helldivers 2 leaked 2 years ago, and the other two we've known about for ages, because Haven and
they've talked about
Firewalk
this being
or whatever,
their
Fire
direction,
Sprite, whatever it is.
And they didn't even really give us that great of an idea of what those 2 games are.
The Concord one,
Sprite, whatever one of those, didn't give us any idea except that it takes place in space.
The Concord one, I don't remember what the trailer was from the Xbox Showcase last year, but it was like it had like the gun crate.
Is that what you're thinking? Yeah, Contraband.
Same fucking shit that we clowned on last year, but just a different coat of paint. And it was like dumb. It shows nothing. Fucking stupid. And it's like, what the fuck is happening with PlayStation Studios right now? Which leads us into our next topic of PlayStation Studios Discourse, which is the fancy ad-friendly way of saying, what the fuck is happening to PlayStation Studios? What is happening? Like, genuinely, is it just Insomniac who are capable of making stuff at the moment? Because everybody else seems to be fucking clowning about. And I know that there's some studios, literally Guerrilla, have just finished Horizon Forbidden West and the DLC. Fair enough, you get a pass. So does Sony Santa Monica, even though Quality Bolog's working on a game. They've just released one, literally 6 months ago. And it was a great Game of the Year contender. Fair enough. Leave you out of it as well. But it's like, if you're talking about something that's supposed to be the future of PlayStation, the next year, the next 2 years, you showed us the next 6 months of PlayStation and some indies that are going to come out over the next couple of years, which are great, but not what we came to the showcase for. So it's like, what is going on? Because I wanted to bring a couple of articles up because we haven't talked about them on the show. PlayStation has been having a lot of internal problems recently. And I mean a lot. We'll start with Pixelopus. Roughly about at the start of this month, 6th of May, Sony shut down Pixelopus, which was the studio behind Concrete Genie. Only 12 employees, all cut off. They were working on a game with Sony Pictures Animation as well. So yeah, that's done. They said goodbye, and it was apparently everyone said that it was due to a recent review process, which is interesting because then that moves us over to culprit B. Deviation Games' project gets pulled due to recent review processes. Literally, out of a 130-person studio, roughly over 90 developers got laid off from that studio, and the project was pulled, which is crazy. Literally everybody. I said to Hunter and Cal because I knew the guy because I knew the guy's presence because of Call of Duty Zombies back in the day. But the community manager, they're a games as a service, the developer, they're making an online multiplayer game. They fired their community manager. The game ain't coming. That's it.
Yeah, you kind of need those for that kind of game.
You don't get rid of those people. Yeah, they're not people that you kind of throw away. So that happened. And then literally the past couple of days, we'll mention this. Jason Schreier, everyone's favorite, blocked Kyle on Twitter for posting some meme.
Skill issue.
Reported that the Last of Us multiplayer project has been absolutely butchered by Bungie, as in Bungie was like, "Hey guys, this might not be great," and then Sony got cold feet.
It's almost like the people who liked the multiplayer and the original game were liars anyway, and you shouldn't have made this multiplayer game.
Here's the thing is, I was saying this to Cal yesterday, there should have been red flags, because if a multiplayer mode that was supposed to be a part of a game that came out 3 years ago, and all we got last year was a piece of concept art, that should be a red flag, because there should be more than that. But yeah, apparently, the Last of Us multiplayer game, everybody's been pulled off of it and moved on to different projects at Naughty Dog. And to add to this, might not be related to The Last of Us, but PlayStation's visual art studio, which help with a lot. They're basically one of those teams that works on everybody else's.
That wanted to remake Uncharted or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. They work on a lot of other projects. They have just had a massive round of layoffs there as well, due to, this is from a LinkedIn post, this happened today as of recording on Saturday, due to a large pivot on the AAA multiplayer game they've been working on. There was restructuring within our studio and people were let go. Now, people don't know if this is to do with The Last of Us, which we've just heard about, the multiplayer project, or because they said it was a vibrant and unique multiplayer project, this could also be either the London studio game, which is that weird one that had that concept art leak, or the Horizon multiplayer game. This could be either of those two. So that's another one that's apparently might be in trouble as well. I don't know what to say. Like, it's like Sony literally was like, all in on games as a service by Bungie.
It's not hilarious is the wrong word, but it's weird because all of this is happening right now, and then also they still have these other games as a service games that are coming and probably can't be sustained for very long.
Yeah.
There's like all this trouble before you even get to the gate to trip over at the start of. It's out of control. Yeah,
the visual arts one is definitely not Factions because the original highly stylized multiplayer game. So it is definitely either the Horizon project or probably the London Studios. I doubt it was Deviation either, because I don't think Deviation's game would have been highly stylized. It's from people that made Call of Duty, guys. It was probably gonna look semi-realistic, if not a bit colourful. That's about it. it just seems like they've put all their eggs into this games as a service basket, and then they've gone to Bungie and gone, hey, look at all these games as a service we're making. And Bungie somehow said the words, I think the best ones you've got running right now are Fair Games and Concord. And they were like, okay,
That's not a good
pull the plug
sign.
on everything else. Like, it seems stupid. Like, it's not a good sign. And it's like, I don't think PlayStation realizes why PlayStation is PlayStation. No one's going, oh, I'd love a multiplayer games as a service title that takes all my life away from PlayStation Studios. No. People buy PlayStations.
People want to like, as much as we harp on them for having games that are a lot of the same. At least I can look at Horizon and all the rest and be like, okay, it looks like the same PlayStation game, but at least I know it's a PlayStation game. Fair Games and Concord or whatever, that just looks like a game.
They don't feel like PlayStation Studios games. When you see that PlayStation Studios logo pop up and then you see Fair Games and Concord, they do not feel like PlayStation games. They just don't.
Yeah.
When you see one of those, you're expecting
the ideas a little bit. I didn't want you to overcorrect and diversify by doing 700 of a different thing.
Because here's the thing, right? Last of Us Factions is, we always clown on it because I don't like the original Factions mode. I think it's very boring. But it's like, it's The Last of Us. It's an IP where you can put that out and it's probably going to have a much better chance of success than Fair Games is ever going to have. Yeah. And you're pushing back
especially
on that
with the boost from the show now. You'll have a bunch of
well, here's the thing. If you read the Naughty Dog, it says, our team will continue to work on the project, which they were getting ahead of Jason Schreier, by the way. But as well as our other games in development, including a brand new single-player experience. We look forward to sharing it soon. Everyone's been moved to the single-player game, as far as everyone's aware. They also say multiple games, as well as including a brand new single-player experience. Which to me, I'm like, does that mean they were working on multiple games as a service? Like, does this mean that they were working on multiple multiplayer projects? Or does this mean, if they're saying brand new single-player experience, I'm hoping that brand new single-player experience means new IP and the other game's Last of Us Part 3. That is my hope, that's what the two games are. Because I can't deal with two multiplayer projects by Naughty Dog because I've never played a Naughty Dog multiplayer game and gone, oh man, that was so fun. Fuck the single player right off. Uncharted multiplayer is dog shit. It's fun. It's comical for like a couple of hours, but it's not great. And then same with Last of Us. It's like, it's a time waster. I'm hoping that that's a new IP. Which you'd hope, but that's what you'd want. That's the thing is expansion. Why make Naughty Dog make a games as a service? Horizon, I love Horizon to death. I love the world of it, but I wasn't asking for a games as a service. Like it just seems ridiculous. And it's like, what are you gonna do? Silly. Make a Monster Hunter World kind of game? Like make a Monster Hunter game, but that's Horizon. That's cool and all, but you're also PlayStation. You already have Monster Hunter games come to your platform and you make money from the passive revenue. You don't need a competitor at all because no one's going to play it. Monster Hunter fans are crazy. They play Monster Hunter. They're just going to play that.
Like, it's funny because it's maybe they should focus their energy more towards a corner of the market that, games as a service continues to prove that you can only have so many of them before the bridge starts to crumble. Xbox has bought like most of the Western RPG creators in existence at this point, it seems. Maybe they should focus their attention on getting something like that to come around, because that could have a decent vibe with PlayStation, I think, if you got the right match. Or something like that, if you wanted to diversify from just 15-hour story game where you walk and talk a bunch.
I think what people are asking for is diversity in the gameplay types, not necessarily in like, oh, there's too much single player here, we need more multiplayer. And it's like, I get it. You need passive revenue. You need more passive revenue streams, because you do have the problem of PlayStation games is you have this big launch, and then the games continue to sell, but it's more like one big hit and then the trail afterwards, and we move on to something else. And I get that it's not as kind of it's not as beneficial to you as a game where you have a big hit and then it just keeps churning money because people are carrying on investing in it. But that's not what people are like. You're not into it. And let's be real here. there's a very low chance of a games as a service, especially on an exclusive at that point,
Yeah,
becoming
your
a
audience is
big,
already
big
a
hit.
fraction of the size.
It's not going to. There are 5 probably free-to-play games that will forever in eternity own the free-to-play games as a service model. Like, I can probably list them off now. It's like Fortnite will always, unfortunately, at least for now, will always
Yeah.
live in that world. Apex Legends will always live in that world. Valorant will always live in that world. CS:GO will always live in that world, and Call of Duty Warzone will always live in that world. They're basically the big 5. They are the ones that are going to rule the roost forever in perpetuity. I do not think Fair Games will make a dent. I do not think Concord will make a dent. I do not think Last of Us multiplayer will make a dent. They're just going to show up, they're going to fizz out, and they're either going to have a steady player base like The Last of Us would probably have if it released, where you'll have a couple thousand people that are interested and continue to play, or you'll have what I think is going to happen with stuff like Fair Games, which is what's going to happen, which has happened in the past to every other attempt. Remember, like, Ubisoft made a Battle Royale not too long ago and then shut it off after 6 months? Remember, like, there was the
Yeah.
basketball one that wasn't too long ago? There was
They had that roller skating game that came out and they shuttered.
Yeah, well, I can't remember what it was called.
Roller
There was the wrestling
Champions, I
one.
think.
Yeah, there was the wrestling one.
The Rumbleverse.
Rumbleverse. Multiverses, the Smash
Oh,
games as a
yeah.
service, just said bye, we'll be back when we've maybe are fully done. Like,
I don't think it's ever coming back. Mortal
I don't
Kombat's
either.
DLC is better at being multiverses than Multiverses was.
like I just don't get it. I genuinely don't understand it. I don't understand what their game is here, because people clown on Xbox, but Xbox genuinely has. There's only so many more years until Xbox has a rolling lineup of games ready, because it's getting to that point now. Psychonauts 2 was Psychonauts 2 last year or the year before? I feel like it might have been the year before. It's 2021, right? So Double Fine is probably at work on at least 2 or 3 games that will probably be coming out in the next couple of years. You've got Avowed is probably right around the corner. It can't be too far away. You've got Hellblade, that's what Senua Saga, that's probably coming out soon. You've got a new Forza game coming out literally by the end of the year. You've got Starfield coming out, and then they'll be straight to work on Elder Scrolls 6, and I have a feeling that Xbox is going to try and rush them to get that done as quickly as possible. You've got a load of stuff, not even talking about actual Xbox devs, like, Rare, or there's probably a new Gears that's probably coming out soon. There's a load of stuff that Xbox is going to start having 2 to 3 games coming out every year. And PlayStation's looking around going, Fair Games, anyone? Let's get this ball moving.
Yeah.
It's not going to work, especially like when you said, a lot
not.
of the Western RPG market is kind of tied to them now. And if they get Activision Blizzard as well, like, which I'm assuming they're going to get at this point, it's like, yeah, COD will still be multi-platform, but it's like, you're going to lose a lot of your family titles if Crash and Spyro all of a sudden start having new releases and are going to go over to.
And when you go and kill like one of the, yeah.
What, you're going to have Astrobot and the generational Ratchet and Clank that comes out once every console gen, and then that's it? Like, that's your family lineup?
And I guess maybe they're going to be like, Media Molecule, a new Little Big Planet now, please.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they're making. I think they're making either that or another family-oriented game that's similar to Little Big Planet.
I hope it's a new thing, because, I don't know, another Little Big Planet seems a little...
I think I'd be fine with a new Little Big Planet because it's Media Molecule coming back, and they haven't done one since 2, and it was like this big kind of like welcome back, new evolution on it.
3, yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool if they were like, here's what we think a modern version of this would be. I think that would be pretty cool. I don't know if they'll do it, but I think it'd be pretty interesting, right? But it's like, they're pretty buddy-buddy with Square right now. But what if Xbox tries to fix that, which they could very well do?
Yeah, as soon as this Activision hooflaw gets sorted.
They're pretty buddy-buddy with Sega at the moment. It sounds like Xbox has the marketing rights to P3 Remake, if it's real. Who knows if it's real? It's sat on the same shelf as Metal Gear 3, where we're just waiting to take it off. But,
All these 3 games, man.
Yeah, it was like last year when Nintendo was like Xenoblade 3, Splatoon 3. Like, everything's a 3. there was a load of 3s last year and there's a load this year. But it's like Xbox, they're sitting there taking the L for Redfall, right? Sitting in the corner crying or whatever Phil Spencer's doing.
Yeah.
But they're gonna have games soon. And PlayStation's sitting on their ass going, oh, fucking games as a service. Maybe Ghost of Tsushima 2 in the next 3 years. We got you.
Yeah, maybe
It's
Ghost.
fucking stupid.
No clue what Bend is up to. I hope it's something nice.
That's the thing, is what should we have seen this year? This showcase? We should have seen Bend. 100%
Yeah.
should have seen Bend.
What the fuck is Bend? I would have liked to see Team Asobi.
Team Asobi?
Either it would have been an Astrobot that you can play on a console that's like a full platforming experience, or it would be an Astrobot that's going to try and save the PSVR 2.
Or both, which
Or
I think
both,
it could
yes.
also be like a Resident Evil situation where you can do it in both. And I think that would be the best of both worlds, to be honest. I'd be tempted to buy PSVR 2, even if I could play it all in regular mode as well, because I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. But you'd expect to see you'd expect to see at least a teaser for what Blue Point's working on. They've had 2.5 years on it at this point. Like,
Yeah.
They made Demon Souls in what? Shadow of the Colossus remake was 2017?
2018 is when
2018?
it came out.
They made Demon Souls remake in like 2.5, 3 years. So you'd think you'd get a clue of what they're doing next. Sucker Punch. I know that Ghost is probably a while away, but you'd at least expect a simple teaser or something at this point. We're getting to a point where they've been working on that for 3 years. So it's like, there's a lot of things that like start churning, like start getting a little glimpse of it. And you're just not.
At least put it into the, ether of existence there.
Yeah.
It just seems like,
especially if you're going to wait a year and a
happen.
half to do another one of these again.
Which is like I've seen a load of people that are coping, going, "Oh, they've got to do another one this year." I'm like,
I don't think they think they have to do anything.
I don't think they're fucking going to be honest.
Yeah, probably not. They're probably gonna be like, you're gonna play this Concord game and you're gonna like it.
I think you get a state of play for Spider-Man and you get like nothing else this year. I think you get like something in August that's probably a state of play that tells you that Spider-Man's coming in October or November, and that might even be a blog post. You never know with Sony nowadays. Who knows? But it just seems stupid, especially when you hear like, what is next year? Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
No idea.
What is
from anybody, really? Don't even really know what's up with Nintendo.
But we're assuming there's a new console coming from Nintendo, and that's why there's nothing happening next year. Whereas it's like Xbox, you can kind of get an idea of what Xbox's next year will probably be like. It'll probably be Hellblade because it's going to get delayed again, Starfield because it's going to get delayed again.
Yeah, probably.
But but all jokes aside, you can assume that there's going to be some games there because they at least have a load of games that are announced. I'm assuming Avowed is next year. I'm assuming that game is going to come
maybe this
out
year if Starfield does get delayed. Who knows?
Maybe. You don't know. But it's like you can think of some games that are like, yeah, they're probably 2024 for Xbox. PlayStation, you're like, I genuinely don't know what comes after Spider-Man, other than Wolverine might be targeting late 2024, early 2025.
Well,
other than that,
you and I did that episode about basically this whole topic towards the end of last year, and we're sitting here like 6-7 months later
asking the same
still
questions.
asking the same questions.
Genuinely asking the exact same fucking questions, and nothing's changed, and all we hear is leaks and rumors. Like, that's the thing. It's just like Xbox's show. It's like, we know there are games coming to PlayStation at the end of this year, whether it's third party or not, but it's mainly from fucking Jeff Grubb and other leaks, not actual like people. It's like Metal Gear. Yeah. It's like, just get the Metal Gear fucking announcement out there. It's like P3 Remake. That's coming this year, apparently, but it's like, Xbox is just like, yeah, fuck it, hell, we've got this event in June. I'm like, that's cool. And we got Jeff Keighley's event. I'm hoping these two have got something that save us from anything at this point, right? I really hope, for PlayStation's sake, because I know we've been shitting on PlayStation a lot this year. Well, that's true, but this week in particular. But it's like, I really hope, for the love of anything, that there's something PlayStation at Jeff Keighley's show. And I don't just
Their
mean
logo
like
was on his little thing, but I don't know what it could be anymore. Like, probably, I wouldn't be shocked if that was just, hey, Death Stranding 2 has a trailer.
I hope there is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or I hope that it's either Death Stranding 2, or I hope that they have done something where they're like, hey, you know what? That PlayStation showcase was that good. We'll move the Ben teasers to Jeff Keighley. Give him something. You know,
That'd be
like,
funny.
or maybe they just knew that they were shit and they were like, you know what? We can't give Jeff Keighley that Concord trailer because people are just going to take the piss out of us. So we'll give him something that's actually of substance. But
I mean, at least if they threw the Concord thing in with Jeff Keighley's show, I would have filed it away with the rest of the nonsense I see at Jeff Keighley's shows.
You just be like, yeah, that's par for the course.
Yeah, I've seen like 7 of those tonight.
But man, it's just like there is nothing. There's absolutely fucking nothing. It's Insomniac has carried the PS5 generation for Sony so far, and it's not even
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Right? It's like Miles Morales, year one. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Well, yeah, 2020, Miles Morales. 2021, Rift Apart. 2022, they didn't show up, but thankfully they had Gorilla and Sony.
Yeah, they had 2 other games to give Insomniac a break for a year.
Is it who is it? Is it Who makes Gran Turismo?
Polyphony, who was
Yeah,
Gran
Polyphony.
Turismo, yeah.
Yeah. So they had people show up in 2022. That's fair enough. This year, fuck all showing up again, and they're like, "Don't worry,
Yeah,
Insomniac's here to
Insomniac
take the
again.
fucking W again." It's like you can't keep getting away with this. There's like, and they're like, "How we can? We have Wolverine in the works." And it's like, yeah, that's cool and all, but it's like, man, you need to get like, because here's the thing: is Insomniac is been pretty open about since Miles Morales and Rift Apart. They've kind of tried to stop the crunch culture at Insomniac, and it's like if they're stopping that and they're still releasing at this cadence,
Yeah, you need to stop trying to make it so hard for them to do that.
and you have Naughty Dog, who I love Naughty Dog. They make great games, right? I'm not trying to batter them, but it's like we had Uncharted 4, The Lost Legacy, which was great. They were back to back, and that was really impressive. That was really impressive that they made a 8-hour Uncharted game the year after they just made a 16-hour Uncharted game. That's pretty impressive. And then you got The Last of Us Part 2, which was like 3 years later. Pretty good. Well, we're 3 years later from the Part 2 now, and not only do we not have the multiplayer component to Part 2, we have no information on what's next from Naughty Dog. And it's like, what's happening?
No
Like,
idea.
what's happening? It's stupid. I hate it. It's Jim Ryan. It's fucking Jim Ryan. I hate it.
It's hilarious how much.
I miss
because,
Sean
like,
Layden. Come back, Sean. Please, love
me
God.
too.
I miss
It's
you.
funny because like Phil Spencer, every time I see him talk about, every time I listen to Phil Spencer say stuff, I'm like, you're pretty cool. But I don't really
like
care about
Phil.
his.
I
I don't care about his system all that much yet because I don't have anything to care about at the moment.
I also think he chats a bit too
But-
much shit sometimes, where it's like I
That-
feel like it's
that
a
too.
bit more like hyperbole. But Jim Ryan is the ultimate shit talker. Like he does
But
just.
yeah, and then Jim Ryan
exude.
over here, the head of the console that I own and tend to enjoy more, and I hate his guts. I hate his stupid face. I never want to see him.
Just every single decision that Jim Ryan makes, you're just like, no, Jim, think again. Like, try again, buddy. Like,
Why would someone want to play an old game? Or whatever
Yeah.
nonsense he did.
God, it's
Do
just
it
stupid.
for the gamers. It was something that he said in one of his stupid statements one time.
Please watch the Gran Turismo movie. Thank you. It's
God.
I do. I want to be excited about PlayStation. I genuinely do. But it's, I was
It's
talking
hard
to
to
my
do
friends
when
the
they're
other
the
day.
market leader.
I was trying to talk about video games, but I was like, I'm loving Zelda. Zelda's great. But Zelda
Yeah.
reminds me, every time I play Zelda, like, after playing Zelda now for the most part, the magic has kind of worn off on Zelda a bit now, where it's like, okay, it's a game again now. But it's like, I haven't had that much fun in a video game since Persona 5 in 2019. I remember saying that, and that was a huge compliment to Tears of the Kingdom. It still is a huge compliment. But then I also realized that it's more of a jab at every single fucking game that's come out between Persona 5 and Breath of the Wild's release in 2017 till present, where I'm like, how have I not had this much fun since then? Like, why? Why do I look at games, or why do I play so many games for this stupid show that I love to death? But I'm like, it's fine. And I'm like, why? Why am I doing this? Where it's just like, games just make me feel nothing sometimes. And it's
Yeah.
just dumb. And I hate it. It's like Ghost of Tsushima. I think it's fine, but I never felt anything playing Ghost of Tsushima. And I never will. And I'm just like, this clown's supposed to act hyped when Ghost of Tsushima 2 is coming around? Like, I can't do it. I don't know how much longer I can do this, where I just look at Sony and go, I have faith, and then play a game that was fine. Like, even Ragnarok, I loved Ragnarok, but I'm also like, it was God of War 2018, and I like that game too. But if you were like to put a gun, if you were to put a gun to my head and go, you're not gonna get to play God of War 3 of this trilogy, I wouldn't be like, oh no, kill me, no.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm not that
like,
passionate about
yeah.
Sony's lineup.
Yeah, and like, I'm not gonna jump for joy when they announce The Last of Us 3 or any other thing Neil Druckmann does, despite being, you know, propped up as the greatest studio doing their thing.
Oh, don't get, yeah, it's like, I love Naughty Dog games, but it's like, when it's just because when they show up, I'm like, cool. Like, I'm never sitting there. Like, I'm not Tears of the Kingdom fucking hyped for anything Sony ever releases. And I'm like, that sucks. The closest I get to is Spider-Man. And this fucking show made me hate Spider-Man. And that trailer's fine, but I felt nothing from that trailer of Spider-Man because the whole hour put me off it.
Yeah, like, PlayStation, to put... Yeah, I also don't feel Zelda amounts of hype for PlayStation stuff too. I've said before that I started anticipating the next Zelda game when I finished Breath of the Wild, as soon as the credits were done. PlayStation does not have a game that makes me feel that way.
But it's like, it's even just like, I remember when Mario Odyssey was coming out. I remember watching the launch trailer literally about 4 times the night before, like super fucking excited for stupid Mario game. And it's like,
He turns into a T-Rex.
yeah, I'm like, just the jazz and all that stuff. Or it's like, you know, it's like when Persona 5 Royal got announced, I was like super hype. Like when that came out, super hype. You know, fun times. When I hear about the rumors, I'm now very interested in the Xbox show just because I'm like, ooh, Persona 3 remake. That sounds like it'll be great. Fix all my problems with that game. Can't wait. You know, and it's like, why do some game studios and companies, like, you know, when Monolith releases a game, or if, like, you know, like I say, Atlas releases a game, and then there's that kind of level of hype for me where I'm like, oh, this is fun. And it's like, I love Sony games to death, right? Some of my favorite games, Rift Apart, I fucking adore. Miles Morales, I fucking love. But I'm never sitting there quaking in my boots going, just 2 more sleeps, 2 more sleeps. No, it's not happening. The Santa Claus effect isn't there for me. And I don't know if it's just because of the way Sony acts right now, and that's the reason why, where it's like, it feels very kind of conveyor belt. Tick the boxes, we've talked about it. Every game has the checklist of semi-open world RPG light, has the character, usually has a companion now, like, tick the boxes.
And collectibles.
Exactly. Where it's like, is that the reason? Where it's like, every time I'm like, okay, it's just, like, I was excited for Infamous Second Son. And Ghost of Tsushima, I'm like, oh, this is cool, I'll check it out. And now Ghost of Tsushima 2, I'm like, I love you, Sucker Punch. I'll probably play it day one, but I'm not gonna give a shit until the game's in the console, like, and I'm playing, and I'm like, that's it. It's just like, I just wish there was that hype again. And I feel like at the start of this generation, they had it when it was like Miles Morales, Horizon Forbidden West, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, all coming in the first year. God of War Ragnarok tease, Final Fantasy 16 tease.
Yeah.
All of this stuff. I'm like,
and
this is
now
cool.
we've seen way too... God of War is out, and we've seen way too much Final Fantasy 16.
Mm-hmm.
Deathloop was still interesting at
Oh
that
my
point,
god.
you know, it's like we had so much hype and anticipation.
And then it got delayed 2 more times.
And this, I think
Returnal.
The problem with this generation was it's the generation of many promises, and I feel like nothing has really lived up to anything, really, where it's like, my favorite game from the past 3 years is a game on the Nintendo Switch. Before that game released last month, my favorite game from the past few years, was also on Nintendo Switch. My if I list my top 5 games of all time, so many are on Switch. It's got nothing to do with these new consoles. I feel
before just starting Tears of the Kingdom, my favorite game from the past couple of years would have been Hades, which was on the Nintendo Switch before it was on PlayStation.
dude, it's just like, I just want something to be excited again from Sony, and it just feels like it's just doom and gloom, and the only news you ever get is a fucking acquisition, and you get the wars that start again, and you have to get down in your fucking
An
bunker and
acquisition
just
or
hide.
layoffs.
Yeah, or just layoffs, and it's just like, man, I wish when our only fucking complaint was, oh god, Last of Us 2 is going to be depressing as fuck. Like, I remember those were the conversations we were having at the start of this podcast, where we were like, oh god, that's going to be a depressing video game. Oh no, leaks have happened, and this game's going to be controversial. Oh, what it's like to be a Sony fan. And then, oh god, now we're here, and it's like, good lord, man, that was the least of our concerns. God, it's just dumb. Oh well. I feel like we're ranting. Let's wrap it up. Got anything else to say, Hunter?
As far as PlayStation's concerned, not really. Spider-Man will be good when it comes out, but like.
Oh, and I
Yeah.
want to say, I know I've been doom and gloom. I can guarantee for the fact, if Spider-Man 2 hits this year, it'll be my second favorite game of this year. I can guarantee you that much. I promise you that much. There's Bob Hope chance that anything else gets close, because I love the gameplay loop of that. I was already, even though I'm shitting on that trailer, like the trailer and everything, I was already in my head I was already getting in my head ready to re-download the PS5 versions of both of those games and get ready to do them again beforehand. I'm totally ready for that, because those games are just stupid fun. I've replayed both Spider-Man games now at least multiple times. I'm happy to play those games again and again, and I can't wait. But man, I'm just dead inside in terms of Sony hype. I'm just done. But hey guys, don't worry, PS5 Pro, it's coming next year. Don't you worry about it.
Oh my god.
You can put your PlayStation earbuds in, get your PS5 Pro out.
Be right there next to the Switch Pro.
Nah. Next year's not going
I
to
would
be
like for them to
year.
bring out that detachable disc drive thing before that, so I can start sharing.
That's the end of this year.
All the discs I buy with my sibling that has the digital version.
Joke's on you, it'll only work with the new PS5, and the old people have to sit and think about what they've done. That's how that'll work.
Well, I'm the one giving the discs to them.
No, I'm saying that the new disc drive will only work for the new fancy PS5 that's been built with this disc drive in mind.
Stupid.
Yeah, but that sounds like a Jim Ryan thing to do, though, doesn't it? Let's be real.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like selling you Vita memory cards that are proprietary.
Dude, links are on screen, by the way. But I was like, that's how I feel, right? It's like PS5 Pro is. I feel like I probably will end up buying a PS5 Pro, because I feel like eventually, if I plan on moving out at some point in my life, which I probably should start thinking about that, Ethan, existential dread and all that jazz. But, it's like, I'll probably end up leaving my PS5 here, because I'm not just going to go, because for those of you who are new here, my dad plays video games. I'm not just going to go, and I'm taking the kids with me, and then I just up and leave, I'd feel bad. So I probably would end up buying a PS5 Pro, just because if I'm going to end up buying another PS5, that's probably what I'll do.
You see, there will be a slim model that you could get too, and
yeah, it'll be the one with the disc drive. And I'm like, I'm not having this janky fucking USB disc drive. I'm not your brother, Hunter. I'm not going to sit there with my USB to disc drive adapter so that I can play Resi 4 again. I'm not doing it. Joke's on me, that'll also be a thing for the Pro, or the Pro will be digital only, and it'll be excellent,
digital only, and you have to plug in the drive. Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. I hate Sony, dude. But just don't worry, console fanboys. I also hate Nintendo and Xbox as well. I love games.
I like everyone who's not attached to the console making part of it. Like Supergiant, like Kojima.
Dude, it's like, I hate console wars, because it's like, there's no, I don't get loyalty. There's no reason to be loyal to anything, dude. What's Sony ever done?
We don't like ours, but we sure hate yours.
Corporations aren't your friend.
They
Never
aren't my
forget.
friend, dude. No, that's the thing. Never. Is I get annoyed when Xbox are doing shit, because I bought an Xbox and I'm like, I'm rooting for you to not be shit.
Like, I'm over here having a laugh at Redfall being bad, because I don't have a horse in the race. But
I mean, I'm laughing at it. I have a horse in the race, and I think it's funny as fuck. But it's like,
I laughed at Destruction All Stars too. It's not like
Oh, I
PlayStation
did.
doesn't have immunity.
I played it for 6 hours, dude. I played Destruction All Stars for 6 hours,
Or like,
planning to make a review of it, and then I never
Man.
played it or wrote about it again. It was great.
I'm missing
But
I'm missing a Nintendo example off the top of my head, but I'm sure I had a good laugh at
Every
something
sports game from this generation.
like yeah. There you go. The Switch sports,
Nintendo
the Mario
Switch
games that I
sports, ladies and
played, all of
gentlemen.
those.
The
Mario
greatest episode of all
Strikers.
time. Hey, there you go. Anyway, that's enough of this. We've talked enough about Sony. Thank you for going through this fucking rant that it has been, especially in the last half an hour. If you're still here, thank you. Very cool. Next week on the show, it's Street Fighter time, baby. I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was. It's Street Fighter time.
That'll be
Hit
fun.
the streets.
That's crazy. Is it Diablo time as well? When's Diablo out? Is
I
that the
don't
following
know.
week? I'm
It
not. None of
doesn't
us are
matter to
playing
me
it. I'm
'cause I'm
just
not gonna play it.
Neither am I. I'm not playing it either. I'm not gonna have time. To finish Tears
Activision
of the
can
Kingdom.
get bent. I don't care who buys you. Fire Bobby Kotick.
Fire Bobby Kotick. I would have probably have given it a try if Tears of the Kingdom didn't take this long. And also, I don't want to give them money, to be honest. I've got to buy that stupid Weeb game at the end of the month, so I don't really want to double dip.
Diablo is the Tuesday after
That's it. It won't
Street
even be
Fighter
out.
6.
We wouldn't have to worry about that. It's fine. So, Street Fighter 6. Carl's at least playing it. So,
He
we'll have
sure
impressions
is.
on that next week.
Probably gonna pick it up too. If I haven't finished
Hell yeah.
Zelda, it will be a thing that I play for a couple of hours before I play Zelda for the rest of the night.
Meet me in
That's
the
the
streets,
spirit.
Hunter.
That'll be
Help
fun.
me record some gameplay footage.
We can both fight each other with our stupid creative characters.
Oh god.
That'd be fun. Let's make the most demented thing possible.
I'm gonna make a refrigerator.
I hope they have like they probably won't have a Soul Calibur level creative character, but that'd be nice if they did. Because
I feel like I'm going to have to, yeah.
People have
Obviously,
made
I'm not
some
playing
wacky
Street
shit
Fighter. I'm
before.
going to have to feel like we have to do something. We'll see. I'll have to
Dude,
do
or
something.
you
when I
could play Street Fighter. Think
No,
about
I'm
it.
not
That's
giving
not-
them. Like, here's the thing.
That's a lot of money for
a lot
what
of money.
will be 3 hours of
Yeah,
Ethan's
but it-
time.
Maybe he'll enjoy it.
No, I won't.
Maybe
It's a fighting
Maybe this
game.
is
I don't
baby's
like
first
fighting.
fighting game.
No, I don't like
That was
fighting
Smash
games. That's the
Brothers,
thing.
and it
And that's
didn't
the-
work.
Yeah. I don't like fighting games.
Maybe
I'm sorry.
he'll
We'll,
like this one.
we'll have
Who
this
knows?
discussion next week. I'll shit on fighting
Yeah,
games next week.
yeah, I
I'm
know.
not doing
You're
it.
afraid of quarter circle forward.
I'm not afraid of Quarter Circle
Baby
Forward.
doesn't know how to turn a doorknob.
No, I just think fighting games are boring. That's just my problem. I just don't think they're interesting. But it's fine. We'll talk about it next week. Yeah.
Already having a heated discussion here. Tune in
That's
next
fine.
time for the rest of this fight.
Exactly. Tune in next week where they will probably like Street Fighter and I'll talk about how I don't like fighting games. And there we go. What a riot. Ethan being negative again. What a brand new concept for this podcast. Anyway, that's it for this week. Join us next week for Street Fighter. But yeah, thank you ever so much for listening and watching whatever the fuck this episode's been. We'll be back next week for hopefully a more positive episode of the show.
Yeah.
Fingers
God, what
crossed.
if we hate
Capcom,
Street Fighter?
Street Fighter better not be shit. Anyway,
Oh, that'd be
hate
funny.
it.
it'll be fine. It'll be good, I'm sure. Anyway, we'll be back next week. We'll talk all about it then. Same time, same place next week. But yeah, until then, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Doodaloo.